We got asked a number of questions. We had asked thousands and thousands of questions during the event, and many of which we couldn't get to. But I wanted to kind of recap some of the most common questions we got asked in this video here. So just wanted to spend about 10 minutes with you just kind of going over the common questions. The number one question we got asked was, where are the darn recordings of this event? So we went ahead and recorded the event earlier in order to make sure that you saw more of a pristine, no tech problems kind of version of the event, and the one that had us doing the labs with you. So for you to get there, you can go to pragmaticworkstraining.com. Let me go there real quick. So hang in there real quick, pragmaticworkstraining.com. Now, once you're there, you'll see the free trial button. Now, this free trial button, it essentially is a free trial for all the classes, all 60 classes, but App in a Day and Dashboard in a Day are included forever for free. So those you don't have to worry about, just fill out a few questions. It'll then send you an account information, and you'll be able to watch those two classes forever for free. And it's a recording of me doing the labs also with that for App in a Day and the Dashboard in a Day. So the next question we got asked a lot was, how in the world does the licensing work for Power Apps? So on that side, if I go over to Power Apps, hit the gearbox up top, and hit Plans, we'll be able to see what licenses Brian now has. So a few of these, the Community Edition is like my personal plan that I got as part of the Community Plan. Now that's good for training and good for learning. Now, and it's good for development, but I cannot share the applications I build there with others. So that's the Community Plan. The Office 365 plan, which is the one that probably all of you guys see today. This is at make.powerapps.com. Includes all the apps you want to build, as long as they're not premium connectors. So what does that even mean? Well, premium connectors means when you go over to data at make.powerapps.com and connections, there we go, connections. And you go to create a new connection here. You'll see the word premium next to a few of those connections. The most suitable one is this SQL Server one, which is a premium connection. So what do you do then? Well, if I go back to plans, you'll see another license here called the per user plan or the per app per user plan. So this is where you're licensing Power Apps per app or per user. Okay, so there's two ways. I say per app, I mean per app per user, or per user for unlimited applications. There's also one additional license that if you happen to have Dynamics, you have unlimited apps in your Dynamics environment also. Now, when I say Dynamics environment, you'll see this little environment word right here. If this is the same environment as Dynamics, I can build as many applications as I want to build in Power Apps. Now, another question we got asked is, I don't understand, I as a developer need a license, but how about my Bob, who's a user of my application? Yes, Bob does need a license also. Any user using Power Apps would need one of the licenses. Now, you can license yourself as an unlimited plan, and Bob, who only needs one application, as a per user per app plan, and you can kind of pick and choose. That's one of the nice things about Power Apps. Additionally, we have a whole slew of cheat sheets. So if I go to pragmaticworks.com and then I go to resources up top, and once it comes in, there we go. Okay, resources, and then go to white papers and cheat sheets. We have a whole slew of free resources for you. One of those resources you'll find is going to be right here under the first option here, Power Apps Cheat Sheet. This is the one I created just for you guys before I did the session. Inside of here, one of the common questions we got asked, I was going too fast in my demo. Well, right here, this recording right here is the same demo I did for you guys that some of you guys followed along. On that demo though, if I go into this right here, you'll be able to pause me. And I know I speak really, really fast here, but you'll be able to pause me and you can hit show more. Here's the connectivity information right here. You'll need to MySQL Server to go ahead and connect to MySQL Server and build an application in your environment. Now, if your company does not allow for you to have Power Apps, or you don't have access to actually do everything you want, what you can do is go to powerapps.com. Let me just go there real quick. All right. And when you go there, go to the pricing page. You'll see a list of all the pricing for Power Apps. But at the very bottom here is this community plan. This community plan, when I go to learn more, if I have a company that happens to have an Office 365 license today, just hit this create an individual environment, and you're going to create an environment with your name on it inside of your organization. So once you click on it, it's going to ask you a question like, hey Brian, what country are you in? I'll hit accept once I select that. And then I'm going to see Brian Knight's environment up at the top right. So right here it says Brian Knight's environment. You might have to refresh after you do that. I already had an environment, and that's why it worked in my case. But in your case, go ahead and hit the refresh button, and then you should see this, and this is an environment where you can do whatever you want inside of your environment, and you won't impact anybody else, and it will not require a license. Now, the last step is to go to Data and Entities and create. You'll see a Create Database button then. So go ahead and create that database. That's going to create a Common Data Services database for you. So that's one way of doing it. The other way that you might find, if I go back to that screen again, is to get started for free. This is if your company doesn't have Power Apps at all, doesn't have Office at all. In this, you'll actually create a tenant, and it will do all that work for you. So that's the secondary option you can do there as well. That's one of the most common questions we get asked. The other one is, when do I use things like Common Data Services, or when do I use SharePoint or SQL Server? So back over here again, when I went to Data and Entities inside my environment, you're seeing a list of Common Data Services entities above me right now. So the question is, well, when do I use what type of data source? When do I use SQL Server versus when do I use Common Data Services versus SharePoint? The SharePoint thing is the number one question. Excel and SharePoint. Excel should ideally be avoided because you get sometimes connection issues where you have the spreadsheet open, I have the spreadsheet open, and you get things like sharing violations. So try to avoid using Excel. You can use it, it will work, but you're going to get some odd errors every once in a while, which takes you to SharePoint as your medium solution. So small, medium, and your medium solution is going to be SharePoint, where you can create a list to store your data. Now this works well, but it caps out after a few thousand rows from the performance side. You can store tens of thousands of rows inside of SharePoint, but you will have performance problems when you get into certain points if it's not properly created. So that's small, medium, and then the nice thing about SharePoint, though, is it does give you access to things like a free Office 365 license. So you already have it as part of Office 365, and you already get the Power Apps for Office 365 connection as well, which includes SharePoint as a connection. The last option, the large option, is going to be SQL Server. SQL Server is the upscale option where you can create your databases and do all that work there. It can scale to millions and millions and millions of rows in that case, if not billions of rows. Now, between SharePoint and SQL Server is one additional option called Common Data Services, which we were seeing right here above me. Common Data Services is like that middle ground. You want to go above SharePoint, and this works for Canvas or model-driven apps, and I can basically see a list of tables here called entities in the CDS world. These can be synchronized between the systems, and I can extend the existing ones that are already here. So when you create a brand new environment, it's going to contain things like contacts and accounts and emails, and all those kind of things will already be here. So a lot of the plumbing is already done for you. That's one of the brilliant things about CDS is things like row-level security, auditing, all that stuff is already here. So if I do a new entity, just type a name of some sort here, and I hit create, it's going to show a field here, but wait 1 second. After it provisions it, you see it's provisioning, all the plumbing work is going to come over with it as well. That plumbing is going to be who created this record, who last updated it, when did it occur, what department are they part of, all that 10 or 15 fields for every record is going to come over with it. So in a moment, there we go. We're seeing a list of all the fields that come over with it. This is the advantage of CDS. The disadvantage of CDS is going to be its pricing. It's included in all the pay plans with Power Apps and things like Dynamics as well. The challenge is you get a set amount of space. So most environments are going to start with a gig, go to 5-6 gigs. But typically speaking, you're not going to see a CDS database that's measured in terabytes. It gets very expensive. Every user you add gives you more and more space that you're sharing across your tenant. However, if you want to buy more than what's allocated on a per user basis, it's going to cost you more per gig per month. For commercial customers, that's $40 list price per gig per month. It adds up very, very quickly. Now, you might start, though, with 50, 60, 100 gigs, though, and it might be adequate for medium-sized applications. So that's another question we get asked. So when do I use CDS? When do I use those? So those are our most common questions we get asked. The other one is how do I train a big team to start using this? And when does Power Apps make sense? Who is the target for it? Well, target for Power Apps is, of course, going to be your analyst, because the language resembles much like Power Apps. But it's also going to be developers as well, and developers can extend Power Apps to their own environment as well. So there's lots of different targets for it, but it's squarely focused on internal applications first, and then partner applications where you can share those apps with others secondarily also. So lots of good targets there. Your hardcore developers can use it, and your new developers and analysts can use it also. So some nice stuff there. Now, to train your whole team, the best place to start is probably an app in a day, which we have recorded. You can sign up for the trial. We also have something called hackathons. We find these are most successful. We start with 1 day as an app in a day, followed by 2 or 3 days of getting your hands dirty, focused on building applications with your own data. So these are building prototype applications in your environment. Those are the most successful engagements we see from a training perspective. We also can build an application for you. We have a lot of consultants worldwide that work for us that can build applications for you. So if you want us to build the application or the Power BI report, just call us and reach out to us. My email address is bknight@pragmaticworks. Feel free to reach out to me personally.com, by the way. And we're happy to build an app or do a hackathon, or you can also sign up for our on-demand learning where we have a whole bunch of other classes out there as well. Well, thank you for reaching out to us and attending the Power Platform Your PJs. This is our first of many events we're going to do since we're all sitting in our homes and quarantined right now. But thank you so much for attending, and reach out to us if you have any questions at all. Thanks a lot.